Here's a review of the 2016 Subaru Forester XT. It has a turbo. How does this CVT compare to the other Subarus I've been in? How does this car in general compare to that Crosstrek as well as that Subaru Legacy that I like quite a bit? I'll see you on the other side of the intro video. Hit that like button and subscribe, and let's do this. Guys, I apologize for the wind noise. You can see the water moving pretty hastily southbound, just like the geese will be going soon. Okay, this is a 4th generation Subaru Forester. This thing's been on the American roads for a long time. This 4th generation lasted from 2014 to 2018. And this is the XT model. So we have a four-cylinder, 2-liter turbocharged engine, 250 horsepower. We have these really nice 18-inch wheels. We'll zoom in here in a little bit. It has a CVT. Now what's interesting about this car, because it has a CVT, its towing capacity has gone down for this generation to 1,500 pounds. So you can't really tow a whole lot with this vehicle. Now this also has a sport suspension and an X-mode all-wheel drive that allows you to drive in really bad conditions on the road as well as off-road. It applies brakes to the wheels that are slipping and therefore directs power to the wheels that do have traction. In 2015 they came out a facelift with this car. I'll post what the previous version the previous front of this car looked like before 2014-15 models came out. Now the only drawback to this car that I've done my research on is the oil burning consumption. It's notorious for burning oil with this Turbo 4, as much as a quart and a half between oil changes. So you do your conversions there. I don't know what that would be in liters. It would probably be like around a liter, maybe a little bit more, maybe a liter and a half. I don't know exactly how a quart translates to a liter for you guys overseas, or you Canadians, you guys up north. But this thing does burn oil, or not particularly this car that I know of because I don't own it, but this is its only downfall, and it's very well known of burning that oil. So let's just get into the styling. These headlights are very, very synonymous with most Subarus nowadays. Most Subarus have this little edge around the outside, which usually your LED lights are on, which I don't know if this car, I apologize for the wind, guys. Holy cow. I'm just going to let you see what the lights look like. Okay, as you can see, it doesn't have that LED running strip on the outside. Instead, it just has a little chrome piece, which is just a cost-saving method. This car, it doesn't look bad. It doesn't look bad. It's kind of plain, and this car has functionality at its heart more so than, kick-ass design. But these wheels, guys, these wheels are the show of the car, which is crazy. I do like these wheels. They're pretty cool. These 5 spokes that split, these 18-inch rims or wheels, guys. I hear a lot of rumors out there on the internet. It's like, they're not rims, they're wheels. Like, just chill, guys, chills. Tomato. P225 by 55 R18. So there's your 18-inch wheels. I think they look really good, and they make this car just stand out. I mean, if they didn't have these wheels, this car would look pretty boring. But the wheels kind of lighten it up, lighten the mood on this Forester. I think it looks better from behind, especially in this particular car. I'm sure you can get those running LED lights in the front on the higher end trims. I do like the little roof rack accessory there. We have that cool dual exhaust on the back. I do like this rear light setup, especially from the side. I think it looks pretty good there, as you guys can see. And there's a very large rear window. Like I'm gonna tell you guys in a little bit, the visibility in this car is actually really good. If we look, it has an XT badge, and of course the symmetrical all-wheel drive to give you guys really good grip. Now I mentioned this car only has 1,500 pounds of towing capacity, but we have a full-size hitch. Someone didn't give a shit. They're just like, I'm gonna rod this thing, I'm gonna hook up my camper to it, and we're just gonna go. And that's probably what they did. And then here we get a final look from the back, and I like that little spoiler on the back as well for aerodynamics as well. It helps the looks in my opinion too. Nice job, Subaru. Engine presentation's pretty good. course, they're proud of their Boxer DIT. This is very, very familiar to me. You know, the Boxer engines, I should say. I've driven a few of them at this point. But this one, guys, this is the turbo variant, the 2-liter turbo 4, and it kicks serious ass. If you look up there, that's where it gets all of, oh shit, God, that just scared me. The AC compressor just kicked on or something, it scared the hits out of me. And then you can just see, you know, where it goes. Like, that kind of scared me, so now I'm off my rocker. It's your intercooler for the turbo system. You can see in there, that's where it sucks that cold air in from the front of the car. So very functional. Those connect to here, and that connects to the front here, which is your, you know, just your induction for the turbo intercooler, which is cool. No pun intended. It's cool. Get it? Cold air intake. And then of course there's your real radiator for the engine. Very good. And I always love this about Subarus, that they put the freaking oil filter on top. It's just super easy to get to. But yeah, needless to say, this car produces 250 horsepower. In some applications it can produce, I think, as much as 280 horsepower. This 2-liter 4-cylinder, I mean, it looks a lot bigger than a 2-liter, right? I mean, the turbo and the extra hardware for the turbo kind of make it look bigger. But let's get on the inside of the car. I'm rambling a little too much. Let's get inside the 2016 Subaru Forester XT. Not bad. I'm liking it. I'm liking it. I'm adjusting the seat so I can give you guys a better perspective of the car so you're not slammed into the steering wheel. Visibility in this car is already out of control good. You have this huge panoramic sunroof, which this is the first time I've seen a panoramic sunroof that is manual. You see how, like, I'm a tall dude, so I can do this, but it's still not easy for me to open it up all the way. And now this will also open up as well, like a normal sunroof. So that's very different. And this is, I mean, I like it. It's just very different. It's kind of catching me off guard. I'm doing things backwards today. It's a little backwards. Wednesday, coming into work. On my day off. There's my hair. Up here we have our lights, and this is going to be your sunroof control. Your typical save our ship buttons. Sunglasses. Now, this is a huge visor. I don't know if I mentioned that. What? I don't have lights. I just noticed that. Sorry, guys. I have no lights on my visor. That's a disappointment. Now, this still doesn't cover quite the entire window, which is kind of weird. I don't know why people do that. This window is absolutely enormous. It feels like a truck window. It's absolutely enormous. All right, so let's just start getting. There's a lot of stuff on the steering wheel. I like the steering wheel. It has a good feel to it. It doesn't feel luxury by any means, but it's basic. I do appreciate the stitching. It's pretty good stitching, I might say. Information screen. So I'm gonna fire this car up. Now, it doesn't have a push button start, which is kind of weird. I don't know the last modern vehicle I've been in that doesn't have a push button start. But typical, and I saw this in my Crosstrek review, is that you have 3 information screens. The Crosstrek was a little bit more updated with more information screens than this. Here we have our window controls, automatic down. We have a interesting design here. They wanted to get away from just the normal same color throughout, and they just kind of gave you this striated aluminum plastic. Leather material here, feels pretty good. And then a hard touch plastic here. So back to the steering wheel. Phone controls here, radio controls here. This is your information screen for up here. Actually up here. See, this is a problem I have with having so many screens in the car. You don't always know what controls are going to control what. And the ones that are most intuitive for you to use don't always control the screen you want it to use. Okay, so we have let's just hit the gas a little bit. We have a boost function there on the center screen, just in case you need another boost function to tell you guys, and your acceleration percentage to tell you how fast. Now, I kind of like this. This is pretty cool. I hope you guys can see that. I'm being a weirdo and keeping you guys really far back. miles per gallon consumption, another miles per gallon consumption. I'd probably just leave it at this one because it has my range and my average for this particular trip. I don't believe you can change this. Let's see here. No, I don't think there's anything I can do to change that center screen. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know my Subarus all that well. We have traction control down here, auto dimming down there. Here is going to be your navigation screen. Now, speaking of navigation, this particular car does not have it. So you have all this technology, all these screens, but apparently navigation was too much for Subaru to include on this vehicle. So I'll just click audio because really that's the only choice I have, and that's okay. Okay, there you go. That's all you're getting out of me, so I'm just turning it off, whatever. Climate controls here, I like how simple it is. If these, wow, do you see how cheap that feels? Look how easy that moves around. Kind of disconcerting. But you turn it on by twisting that bad boy. The fans are very strong in this car. I do appreciate that. But I'm gonna just put on first fan. Now there's no auto mode. Everything's manual, which I'm perfectly okay with. But you know, in today's modern age, you would think they would have, you know, auto climate control. Anyways, we have our heated seats down here. Huge storage container. We have a 12 volt here, as you can see. Now this is the X mode we've been talking about. Now it's funny because it points, this is the button for the X mode. All right, the extreme off-road capability. And on-road, just different surfaces and stuff, and conditions, but this is not a button. It's telling you, hey, you need to press this for the X mode. Extremely extreme. I like the placement of the old school handbrake. That's very natural for me. And the shifter here, the leather feels good, like a good material. The shifter it fits in line with the rest of the materials of this car, which are average at best. So these seats, they have a very intricate design. Now we have this fake leather on the outside, cloth on the inside, but man, I wouldn't mind having a tie with this pattern. Now maybe in silk, right? But I actually kind of like this pattern and the 3 little blue dots you see inside of that cloth stitching. Headrests are pretty pedestrian, but they look pretty good quality overall. Going inside the small glove box, now I say small, but we do have a couple USBs auxiliary and a 12 volt in there. But I think that sums it up for everything up here. Of course, we have our paddle shifters. They actually feel pretty high quality. I mean, they are plastic, but they feel pretty good, and they're very easy to get to, unlike some people, Cadillac. SI drive. Oh, okay. Apparently this is how you change the screen up here. I don't know. I don't even know what SI drive is. You Subaru fans, let me know what that is. Do some research for me. I need you guys to help me out. I'm just learning about all these cars. I'm new to the car industry. I'm new to the car reviewing side of things. So, you know, obviously I know my Lexus and Toyota vehicles pretty darn well. But other car companies are always really fun for me to get into because I see things I've never seen before and I don't know what they are. So I need you guys in the comments below to help me out. Throw me a freaking bone here. In the back. Wow, okay. I like the space. There's a good amount of space. Now, it's a lot of black, which is okay. I don't mind. It's going to be a little warm. Again, we have this fake leather in the middle. It looks like no one's ever sat back here. I mean, this car only has about 19,000 miles, so really there's nothing that should be worn out at this point. I don't believe I have any way to adjust the seat. There's no adjustments on the bottom. I have no way to move the seat backwards, I don't believe. I'm gonna pull up on this tab and it only comes forward. It doesn't retreat backwards, which is unfortunate. Really, really unfortunate because I'm sitting super upright in this back seat. And you know, the seats are fine for the comfortability, but the position isn't that comfortable. A couple of cup holders back here, but look, there's no vents back here. There's no connectivity. So far, the Subaru has prioritized certain things like having tons of screens and this really, really large manual panoramic sunroof But in doing so, we don't have navigation. I know you can get navigation, but you don't have automatic climate control. You don't have any sort of connectivity or vents back here. So I mean, it is a very minimalist car as long as you know that going into it. And you know, Subaru is good at certain things like off-road and all-wheel drive and visibility and, you know, good versatility overall. Okay, I've been ranting a little bit too much, getting a little off subject today with my subjective things, but let's get back into the objective things. We have a compass right there on the rearview mirror. The rear of the seat is nice and soft, so my knees could dig into it if the person in front of me, but there is no map pocket on this side. This is, I think I've seen this in more than one Subaru, but there's a map pocket on this side. I just don't understand that. You know, it's like, how hard is it to put another, you know, map pocket back there? Let's go ahead and get in the very back and check out the storage. Liftgate opens very responsively. We have this plastic now Subaru Elite. Holy cow, this is cool. I've never seen this before, and I really appreciate this. Look how they put their all-weather mat. Now it is a low quality all-weather mat. It's kind of plastic with a rubber on top of it. But you know, it's gonna be really easy and light to take out and to clean. But that's really cool that they put the all-weather mat on there. Now we have another 12 volt back here just in case you guys want to hook up an electric grill and grill some hot dogs. We have a light back here as well that turns on, full LED. But good storage back here. And once you fold the seats down, which I'm gonna do, you'd have you more storage. Imagine those are folding flat. Okay guys, let's take off in the Subaru Forester. I got my new phone mount in today. Now, standing still or without driving and parked, this mount looks like it's gonna do a really, really good job. Much better than my old one, which, you know, rest in peace, old window mount. But you did your job, you put in your work. I got my money's worth out of you. But let's try this new window mount and show the world what this Subaru Forester XT Turbo is all about. So like I said, visibility is just unbelievable. Holy cow. Torque and response is very, very good as well. Now, I don't know how I feel about Subaru CVTs. They try to be like a automatic transmission. It's like they have different stages, and the ones I've driven in the Crosstrek and the Subaru Legacy. The Subaru Legacy, I really liked that vehicle. Subaru Crosstrek, I really did not like that vehicle. I know that's very basic for me saying, but so, I mean, I really don't have a whole lot of expectations of driving this Forester. I'm excited for the more power, and both of those other Subarus that I drove, the Legacy and the Crosstrek, just didn't have enough guts to it. And the brakes on those cars, well, especially the Crosstrek, were not very good. Brakes on this car are much, much better. Much, much, much better already. The torque response is almost immediate in this car compared to the lack of any sort of power in the Legacy and the Crosstrek. Okay, we're gonna do a mild acceleration run getting onto the freeway. Oh, speaking of a little Subaru, I think that is an Impreza sedan. Okay, here we go. No one's in front of me. Let's see how this thing. Oh yeah, this has plenty of power. Plenty of power, and wow, that CVT in this car responded very, very, very well. Almost like an automatic transmission. I did feel like I didn't have any sort of that rubber band effect on the CVT. So very, very impressed. Let's do a little acceleration run on the freeway. A little tiny bit of that rubber band effect out here on the freeway, but definitely acceptable. Now that I'm driving down the freeway, I can see the camera is a little shaky for you guys. There's not much I can do about that right now. In future videos, I'll probably will be able to fix that by, you know, just securing it a little bit better. But I apologize if it is a little vibey for you guys. Power delivery in this car is excellent. The CVT, I can't believe I'm saying this, for Subaru, the CVT does a really, really good job. 3, 2, 1. It does a little downshift and then it just takes off. Like, it's really, really responsive. almost as responsive. I might say they do a very indistinguishable job compared to a Toyota or Lexus CVT, which in my opinion is very high honors and praise. So the CVT, they actually feel like they got it nailed down. Road feel. Now I'm up to speed. I'm going 62 miles an hour. Road feel is good. A little bit of, not a whole lot of vibration through the floor, but I can hear it more so than feel it. It's not the smoothest ride out here on the freeway, but it's definitely tolerable. I have no issues with it. Especially, it just feels like it fits this vehicle very well, how it handles and feels out here on the freeway. The rest of this review, I'm just going to hold you in my hands because I don't want to get anyone sick with that vibration. You know, there is a little bit of wind noise. I'm going about 70 now. There's a little bit of wind noise, but like I said, it's completely acceptable for a vehicle of this class. Now, this car also comes with a 6-speed manual. I think they put that in 2015. That would be a really great car to drive. Unfortunately, I have the CVT, but you know, it does a really good job, like I said before. We're going to get into our braking test here, so I'm going to accelerate just a little bit on the down ramp to give you guys a full impression of these brakes. Now, like I said, the other Subaru brakes I've gotten into were not very impressive. Brake feel is actually really good. Stopping power, on the other hand, is not. I really had to push hard on these brakes to get this car to slow down, but the brake feel, there is really no vibration. It's very linear and progressive, but the stopping power isn't near as bitey or as strong as I'd like it to be. You really have to stomp on these brakes to decelerate from a good speed. Okay, I'm trying the window mount again. I think it's going to be a little shaky, even though I have it better supported. Okay, here we go. Yeah, it's still shaky, but let's get into the handling portion. You know, handling's really good for an SUV. Really good. Now, of course, all-wheel drive helps in corners when you accelerate out of them. Ooh, there is a... Did you guys hear that turbo? And there is a turbo lag. There is. But man, you hear the turbo spool, which I won't really be able to get into, and it's just the coolest sound. Oh, that's really cool. Holy smokes. There's a little off-roading right here. I'm not going to get this car super dirty or anything. But wow. That turbo spool was awesome. Now, it looks like there's an old Ford Explorer here that was possibly abandoned. Is there anyone in there? Oh yeah, there's someone in there. Okay, so I can't do my review there because that ugly Ford Explorer is kind of taking up my space. So I mean, it's a dark and cloudy day, guys, but rest assured I'll get you guys a pretty view of the lake. Maybe not so much of the beautiful $1 million homes, but I think you guys will be perfectly okay with the cement factory in the background. Okay guys, I really want to give you guys see if you can hear this turbo spool up. I hope you can hear it. It almost sounds like a semi, right? I mean, yeah, it's not a big huge diesel engine with, you know, these massive turbos, but a turbo is a turbo and it makes very similar sounds, but it's really loud in this car. In our like NX 200T or NX 300, depending on the year, the Lexus car, that has a turbo as well, but has nothing like the sound of this car. And it's probably because Lexus is just like, you don't need to hear the turbos. We're all about quiet and refinement. And let's hear that turbo again in this car. It's it's like the loudest turbo I've ever heard inside of a vehicle before. Yes, I've heard turbos on the outside of vehicles on several, you know, STIs are very known, and the WRXs as well are very well known for their turbos, and people put blow-off valves on those turbos, and it's super cool, and that's what Subaru is really known for, is their Turbo 4 engines. But this is the first time I've actually driven one, and I have to say it's been a really cool and unique experience. And this Turbo 4, I wish they just put it in every single Subaru car they had. I mean, that would turn that Crosstrek into an absolute monster. It would turn the Legacy into an absolute monster. And the Imprezas get it, right? The Impreza WRX and STI get this engine. And it's perfect in this car. I mean, it's plenty of power. I'm going to crank it uphill. 3, 2, 1, go. And there's 80. And I can't say enough for this CVT as well. You know, a good engine always helps a CVT out because it hides its flaws. But I must say the CVT in this car is excellent. A+ for CVT. And it's even better than a lot of automatic transmissions I've been in as well. So regardless of whether it's a CVT or not, this transmission is really, really good, mated with this 2-liter Turbo 4 from Subaru. Overall, I'm very impressed with this Subaru Legacy, this 2016. They're redoing it for 2019. But this turbo engine is phenomenal, as long as you don't have those oil burning issues I mentioned. The CVT actually does a really good job for a CVT, and the brakes felt a lot better in this car than they did in the other Subarus I was in. So overall, and the handling was good too. So overall, this car really doesn't have any major downfalls unless you have that notorious oil burning phenomena going on in this car. But overall, this car is a really, really good attempt by Subaru for a good off-roading, good fuel economy vehicle, and good power. It's just a great overall well-rounded vehicle. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I apologize for the wind, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.